Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my bullet journal setup videos. I'm going to be trying something new this time because I don't want these videos to just be me going through and walking you through what I'm doing in my bullet journal, because really it's not that exciting in my opinion. I don't really want my channel to be too focused on productivity, because that is not really what I'm going for in my bullet journal. I don't think that we should be trying to optimize our lives to be working so much. So these videos are going to be more about a time for me to sort of explore and meditate on different topics that I'm thinking about, and for you to get a glimpse into what I think about when I'm putting together my bullet journal. So just to start, I wanted to acknowledge sort of the state of the world that we are in. Obviously, it's super difficult for people to be productive right now because there's so many different things going on that are rightfully taking up the space of our attention. We've been in a state of a global pandemic for what seems like forever at this point. I think it's been 2 or 3 months. I've lost track of the number of days. And it is kind of surreal that I've gotten used to it, in a sense. I don't really have many things that I miss doing. It's become kind of normal, although there are things that I wish I could do. We're also in the midst of an uprising based off of racial injustice, and that has caused sustained protests around the country and even around the world for the past few weeks now. Or has it been like a month? Actually, it's been almost a month at this point, because it is July tomorrow as I'm recording this. And so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about this quote that I've decided to use as the cover of my July spread. This is a quote by Angela Davis, and the quote is, "You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world." To be honest, I am not super well read. I've only read a couple essays or excerpts by Angela Davis, but I do know enough about her work to find it inspiring and for it to be influential in how I navigate the world. So what I like about this quote is that it speaks very much to the moment for me. We are in a time in our history as a human race, as a country, speaking from the United States of America, where it seems like anything could go, and also on the flip side that anything is possible. And I think that it has never been more clear to us than right now, as we see that things do not have to act as usual. We have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world. So what does this mean to me? It means that while it may appear as if all of our systems are collapsing, those systems were never put in place to sustain the well-being of the people who live within the borders of this country. The way that the system does not treat everyone humanely has really been revealed during these times, not just within the realm of public health and well-being and physical well-being of people, but also in how it has impacted people economically. It has impacted people in ways that were sort of hidden before. Why has it been that a lot of the conversation that happened during the beginning of all of the shutdowns that happened in the US, that one of the primary things that people were trying to address was mental health and people feeling lonely and isolated. Why was that a thing? And how could so many people's livelihoods have changed because retail establishments were not open? Why was it a thing that so many people lost their jobs because so many places of business that thrive off of consumption were not able to conduct their businesses anymore? So I think that this really highlights a lot of questions about the systems that we are in. And then on top of that, we have systemic racial injustice, particularly against Black people in America, that has not been radically different because of the pandemic, but has struck kind of a nerve because of its occurrence on top of everything else that is happening. So we really see how these systems are quite inhumane, I would say. This quote to me highlights two things. It highlights action and it highlights optimism. And so I think that it does us no good to sort of just, to put it simply, complain about the systems that we're in, but we have to actually put into action the things that we would like to have in place in this transformed world. So, to talk about that complaining for a bit, I think that some forms of advocacy act as complaining, and this might be a hot take, but to basically file a complaint against an institution for, let's say, for example, discrimination. It's just actually complaining. It is, and complaining has its uses sometimes, but that I think that when those complaints are continuously filed, like they have been for the last 100 years, longer even, 200 years, for as long as the existence of the American state, and they're not being honored and they're not being listened to, we need to find other strategies of transforming the world. And so that's where I think building alternative structures is really important. So what that looks like could be this term that has gone very popular because of the pandemic, but mutual aid. And I think it's just a word, and I think that we'll like to have fancy words for things that I think are just how humans interact with each other. So as a human species, we have always been dependent on each other for survival, and especially people from marginalized backgrounds, whether it is by economic status, whether it is because you're immigrants, we've always had to rely internally within our communities for things because we've been excluded from other traditional sources of welfare. And what I mean by that, welfare are any type of government assistance programs. They have so many different eligibility criteria, and I can make another video that talks about this, and it was really brought to my attention when I took my first social welfare policy course, is this idea of public assistance and eligibility criteria. Anyways, there have always been people who are excluded from these benefits, and those folks have always had to rely on each other, informal networks, family and friends, in order to maintain some sense of well-being and sustainability. And so this is a moment where we could be doing that. We could be building new alternative structures that will basically make the government institutions, the existing institutions, obsolete. And I think that is a really exciting idea for me. I don't really want to have to rely on the government for my well-being. So anyways, I think my time is up. That's sort of what I've been thinking of as I made this bullet journal spread for July. If you like these types of videos and want me to talk about other things, please give this video a like and drop a comment down below about what you think I should talk about next in my next bullet journal video.